This show is the manliest thing you watch.
Hell yeah.
Meet Demi, meet Kevin. Together, they're the Gilmore Guys. Two guys that came together to podcast about their love for Gilmore Girls. Here are 5 facts you didn't know about Gilmore Girls.
Jon Hamm has a very small role in season 3 as a boring rich guy.
You're the Solomon of wine.
Everybody's got to be something.
His character meets Lorelai at an auction and is set up by, I believe, Emily. So Emily gives Lorelai his number and they go on a date, and we don't see the date, but she comes back from the date saying he's the most boring man alive.
What happened? He was hornless.
No, he had no horns. He also had no personality.
Yikes.
No sense of humor.
Whoa.
And no idea how boring he was.
I'm sorry.
But it's so funny to have someone as like charismatic and interesting and funny as Jon Hamm play like a dud on this show. I just thought it was the funniest thing in the world.
Between the cast and crew, the show actually has a lot of connections with Family Guy.
Mike Henry, who plays Cleveland on Family Guy, has a small role. I think he has like 3 lines total as like a guy in Luke's Diner, but he's there. Alex Borstein, who plays Lois Griffin, was very involved throughout the show in different various roles. And then Seth MacFarlane actually has a small role at the end of season 2 as well.
Hey, you guys are not gonna believe this.
You're Mr. Announcement Guy today.
What, you gonna pipe in every time I talk?
Can it?
Stuff it.
They're in love. Clearly.
So there's all this weird overlap and crossover from the Family Guy universe and the Gilmore Girls universe.
It's pretty much the same show.
Yeah, I'd say it's safe to say Family Guy and Gilmore Girls is pretty much the same.
The character of Lane Kim is actually based on Amy Sherman-Palladino's best friend, Helen Pye.
Speaking of huge, you need to talk to my mom.
You haven't told Mrs. Kim yet?
Don't worry, I'm heading over there today.
You are? Are you ready? You have a clean shirt? You sewed up your pants?
The character of Lane Kim is directly based on a woman named Helen Pye, who is Amy Sherman-Palladino's best friend and was also a co-producer on the show. And the band that Lane Kim joins in one of the later seasons, spoiler, is named Hep Alien.
It is also the world premiere of the newly reunited Hep Alien.
Yeah, Hep Alien, which is actually an anagram of the name Helen Pye. But in the TV show, Lane Kim has a very strict religious upbringing from her mother, Mrs. Kim, as did Helen Pye in real life. Lane Kim is obsessed with music, as is Helen Pye in real life, so there's a lot of parallels there. There was supposed to be a spin-off of Gilmore Girls starring Milo Ventimiglia's character, Jess, but it ended up not going.
No, does Jimmy Mariano live here?
Does he owe you money?
I'm his son.
His son.
Yes, his son.
Well, that's a horse of a different color. Come on in.
So one of the last episodes of season 3, Jess moves to Venice Beach and he meets his old family or reunites with his old family, gets thrown into a whole new setting, and that functioned as a backdoor pilot for a TV show spinoff that WB wanted from Amy Sherman-Palladino. It was going to be called Windward Circle, even though they ended up casting a guy named Rob Estes as Jess's father. They originally wanted Scott Baio for the role. He read for it, Amy Sherman-Palladino loved him, the casting directors loved him, the network said no to him, which was a real bummer.
That's insane. I can't imagine Scott Baio being anyone just going like, no one's gonna want that.
No, thank you.
I feel like everyone would have wanted to see that.
Maybe it's the Chachi stigma, you know? Classic Chachi stigma.
Look, Joey, whenever possible, just throw in the phrase isosceles triangle. It works like a charm.
The character of Luke was originally a woman.
Please, Luke. Please, please, please.
How many cups have you had this morning?
None.
Plus?
5, but yours is better.
You have a problem.
The woman in the original script was Daisy. She was the diner owner. That was the character that Amy originally conceived. As it went on, Daisy became Duke, kind of a joke on Daisy Duke, but then Duke became Luke over time. I think Duke might be an interestingly weird name for, I mean, maybe not. They had a character named Suki.
They might have just said, oh, well, Luke is simpler and also Lorelai and Luke, maybe there's a, assonance, would it be? The first two?
Alliteration?
Yeah, an alliteration there that people would glob to more than saying, oh, it's Lorelai and Duke.
And in case you needed a final reminder to binge,
If anything, it's manly to watch this show.
That's right.
It's the sports of cable television.
To me, though, it truly is, if I'm being like no bit zone, it would be the perfect like date movie. But this is something that you should, men, if you're in a relationship right now and your girl is at all interested in Gilmore Girls, watch it with her, dude. It's not a bad show. It's actually awesome and you're gonna love it, I think.